Hey there everybody, happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well. So today I'm talking to you about low carb diets. I'm not a huge fan of that word. If you guys have worked with me in the past, if you've been a client, a former client, anything at all, even been around me, you probably know that that word diet is not one of my faves as far as my vocabulary goes. But today we are talking about the low carb diet and maybe why you should think twice when you are considering something that is low carbohydrate. So for those of you that are joining live, thank you so much for hopping on. I will take some questions at the end today. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and just use that comment section and ask away if you like. If you're listening to the replay, I will also come back and look at those comments, see what questions you have, and I'll leave some contact information as well below for those of you that want to look at that as well. So I'm glad you are here, and I already have a comment. What is that? I love carbs. Yeah, right? I know. I love carbs too. That's why I could never do a low carbohydrate diet. And I love you too, buddy. So anyway, I am here today to talk about those carbohydrates. My name is Sarah Thomas. I know most of you know me. I'm a fitness instructor, a personal trainer, and a nutrition coach. I'm a mom of 3. I own a wellness business and absolutely love what I do. I work mainly with women who I call the aging woman. That would be me. That would be a lot of people that I know right now, moving into that next decade of life, which is where I am heading right now this year. So what has happened in the past few years to me personally is that my body has changed, which happens. But what I was doing, living healthy, eating the right things, working out, was no longer working. And so I hear this over and over and over again from clients and potential clients that say, what I've always done just isn't working anymore. I don't know what's happening. I got to work out harder. I got to eat less, etc. So I get it. I understand. That's where I'm coming from right now. And so I want you guys to know that what I'm about to tell you about carbohydrates is something that I've experienced myself. I've experimented with myself and with clients. And so what I'm talking to you today will hopefully answer some questions about maybe what you should do and where you should go from here. We're all different. And so maybe something will resonate with what with what I'm saying. And maybe you'll say, she crazy, and that's okay too. So let's be honest, low carbohydrate diets can work very well at first, right? How many of you have heard of somebody say, I've done a low carb diet, or somebody I know has done a low carb diet, they've dropped a ton of pounds quickly and easily. They can look like they work well at first, but here's the thing, 95% of the population will not stick with them, okay? So maybe it looks like it works at first, but you start that yo-yo. You won't typically stay with it. 95% of the population just doesn't stick with it. So let's talk about that. Why? Why is that it looks like it works at first, but we don't stick to something like that? So here's the thing. When you deplete your body of excess carbohydrates, you start depleting yourself of those carbohydrates, it is more likely to tap into some of those stored fats. Those stored fats that we have in our body, we all keep them. Your body's going to start using some of those stored fats as fuel when you start depleting it of carbohydrates. So initially, it sounds like a win, right? Sounds like a win to me. Beautiful. I'll do it. But one of the problems with low carb diets is that often the weight, quote this again, the weight that you lose isn't just fat. It's also muscle. So that's the problem. This is extremely concerning because, as we know, as we age, as early as our mid-20s, we naturally start losing muscle. So if we try to speed up this weight loss process, we lose muscle as well as fat. And we don't see that toned body composition that we are typically after in the process. Now, if you are regularly strength training along with doing low carbohydrate diets, then you can help fight that muscle loss, but we're not talking about that part today. As far as strength training goes, we're simply talking about the diet portion, the nutrition portion. The other issue with a constant low carbohydrate diet is that it feels depriving. I think I speak for the masses when I say that nobody wants to feel deprived day after day, right? Can I get an amen? Ain't nobody want to feel deprived when they're eating. So we all want to find that balance or that fine line where we feel healthy and we feel energized and we enjoy ourselves around food and around friends and family. We want that fine line. So every month I have clients, at least five to 10 clients come to me and they say this, or some form of this. I did really well with a low carbohydrate diet and I lost a lot of weight. So maybe I should go back to that, right? You've probably said it or heard it at least. I did really well with this. I lost a lot of weight, but it came back. So maybe I should go back to what worked before. If that's you, I encourage you to take an honest look at why that low carbohydrate diet worked, but you ended up back on that dreaded yo-yo of stopping and starting. So take an honest look at that. If one of the reasons you did not stick to that diet was because you felt deprived or it wasn't a lifestyle that you could maintain, then going back to it will only put you back on that yo-yo. And guess what, guys? When you go back on that yo-yo and then you gain the weight back, you are continually losing muscle mass. And so we want to avoid that as well. When I work with clients, whether it's one-on-one, in a group setting, in person, online, whatever the case may be, my ultimate goal for them is to find a new lifestyle for them. That's not what my lifestyle is, but for them, what their life looks like, what their lifestyle could be. So clients telling me that they lost 15 pounds and 15 inches during, let's say, their 7-week Burn, Fat, and Feast program. It's exciting, but it doesn't excite me the same or near as much as when I have a client message me a year later or 2 years later with long-term success. So my goal is always long-term success. It's not to fit into a dress. It's not a class reunion. It's not to put on that bikini on the beach. Those are all fine and good, but that's not going to keep you at a certain lifestyle. So that's where the magic happens. The magic happens when you change your mindset and create a deep why for living a different lifestyle. So I do not preach low carb lifestyles to my clients day in and day out. So here's some more reasons why I personally do not recommend day after day low carb diets. Carbohydrates are one of our 3 macronutrients. Macronutrients are essential for our bodies. They're essential nutrients for our body to function optimally. We need carbs, and we should eat them. We need carbs, and you should eat them. There you go. I said it. You need carbs. You should eat them. So I don't preach low carb because some days, let's be honest, our workouts, especially in my Burn, Fat, and Feast program, they call for intensity. So we only work out for about 30 minutes every day, but it can be super intense and demanding on our body, which will require more carbohydrates. So exercise puts stress on our body and our muscles. And so that stress causes a hormone reaction in our bodies. Carbohydrates help replenish that stress and to repair our muscles. They are essential for very intense, especially strength training workouts. Low carb diets typically put us in a calorie deficit. Now again, That's not a bad thing when we need to make some dietary changes, drop some LBSs, etc. However, when we eat in a constant calorie deficit day in and day out, our body will simply stop responding, hold on to every ounce of fat it has, ounce of fat that it has in its stores, and it will help you just maintain, and so you'll plateau. So if you're in maintenance, totally fine. If you're not in maintenance and you don't want to plateau, then you'll need to make some sort of change rather than living in a calorie deficit day in and day out. Eating a low carb diet day in and day out is, I don't know how else to say it, but it's boring. It's boring. And again, we go back to the feeling deprived, but our food shouldn't be boring. It shouldn't be the same day after day. It doesn't have to be that way. Again, this is where we fall off the wagon and we start that yo-yo of up and down. So variety is truly key to success. And I'm going to say it, yes, I absolutely believe that you should leave margin for your favorite treats throughout the week. There's nothing wrong with a treat every now and then. So I challenge you today to embrace the carbohydrates. Embrace the carbohydrates this week. Become a little bit more intentional about how you fuel your body, and you'll ultimately see and feel the changes that you're looking for. So if you're interested in learning more, I know this is super quick, but I don't want to bore you or keep you on here super long. If you're interested in learning more about how to get started burning more fat each day, then you guys can download my fat burning guide. I will leave that link in the comments below today. And if you want to contact me to ask questions, if you have some simple questions or just individual questions about what you need to do or not do, you can message me on Facebook. You can also send me a message via my website, and I will leave the link to my website below too, so you can contact me that way. So thanks so much. I know I had lots of you kind of hop in on live, so I appreciate you guys listening. Again, if you listen to the replay, you can comment below with any questions too. I don't believe I have any questions right now, or at least not that I can see on here. So I will be on later just to make sure that I didn't miss any questions from you guys. Have an awesome Wednesday. I'll talk to you soon.